Good morning. I'm John Quigley, President and CEO of the Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And I'd like to welcome you to one of our professional speaker seminar series. We have Alan Stern from McGrath Lexus of Westmont, and he'll be presenting on the deal of a lifetime, what's really going on in the auto industry, and will it last? And so I will turn it over to Alan. Alan, take it away.
Good morning. Hey, thank you. First off, thank you guys all for joining me bright and early at 8 o'clock in the morning to talk about what's going on in the car business. So I think you guys are going to get a lot out of this. First half of this going to be me talking. Then I'll open it up for Q&A. All goes as planned. I think this should go about 3.5 hours. Yeah, definitely kidding on that. But anyways, a lot of people ask me, hey, what is going on in the auto industry? And everybody's business is affected. You've been doing this a while. Are dealerships really fire selling their inventory like it sounds? So today I'm going to go over not only what's going on at our dealership, but the whole industry. And I'm actually going to show you the 10 best deals, both purchase and lease, that are on the table in the whole industry in case you know anybody. So the $1 million question is, how bad are things really? Instead of me telling you, I'm actually going to show you a few clips from some newspaper articles. New York Times put out an article at the beginning of the month, April 1st. General Motors said its sales fell 7%. Fiat Chrysler said they fell 10%. And on the bottom, Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, and Mercedes-Benz reported declines in March ranging from 37% to 50%. That is a massive number, especially in the auto industry. So that's just one source. Another one, Toyota, down 35.3%. Lexus, where, as many of you know, I work for Lexus, down 46.7%. Just to give you a global report, if you look at the bottom, Western Europe, which includes big markets like Germany, Britain, France, Italy, and Spain, will be even worse this month, possibly down by 80%, while US April sales will only fall 60%. How crazy is it to only fall 60% as an industry? Just chew on that for a second. So that leads me to my next question. What is happening right now? Well, first off, production has been stopped on just about every vehicle from every manufacturer in the whole US. So many dealerships in Illinois have decided to temporarily close, whether they've had a COVID-19 case or not. Some are just choosing to close. Others are open by appointment only. So with the stay-at-home order, there's certain businesses that have been deemed essential. Car dealerships, better yet, car service centers have been deemed an essential business. Obviously, we are a dealership, so we have a service center that is attached to our building. So what does that mean? That means that at all times, every door, with the exception of the service center, has to be locked. You cannot just walk in. If you try and walk in, we legally have to turn you away and say, go outside and make an appointment. Whether you choose to make an appointment 5 minutes from then or not is on you, but that's actually what's going on right now. So to get things moving, because business isn't exactly booming for everybody, incentives right now are extremely generous. Whether you're looking to buy, whether you're looking to lease, there's some really good stuff that's on the table if you're in a position to take action. So let me go ahead and elaborate on that. This was an article that I pulled from US News. Given we have, one or two more days left before month end, actually month end is tomorrow. As of right now in April, here are the best deals that are going on. You look at Jeep up at the top, 0% financing for 84 months. That should be a crime for offering something that's that good. That's on the Renegade. You look at Lincoln, 0 for 72. You see 0% financing on a lot of these. And if you were to go all the way down, you see Cadillac Escalade has a $9,500 cashback rebate. You're going to hear me touch up on incentives in a little bit because, let's be honest, they're kind of confusing. But 0% for 84 months over and above some cash rebates on certain cars. The next 60 to 90 days, what do I think that that's going to look like? Well, think of it like this. Very simple. Think supply and demand. Since production's been stopped and they're offering these crazy fire sale deals right now, inventory is going to do nothing but shrink. So let's say that a dealership normally has, 50 of their best-selling model in stock. And as of right now, they're blowing them out. Once that number shrinks down to 10, 15, 20 cars, dealerships aren't going to be giving them away. And I really think the manufacturers are going to pull back on some of the incentives, which means the lease deals that you're seeing right now are probably going to be 20, 30, maybe even 50 bucks a month higher in the coming months. But at this point, it's all theory, it's all speculation, but that's what I think. More importantly, if you're specific on a certain color combo or option, let's say for us, white with light interior probably is our best selling color combo, or black on black. If you are dead set on a certain color combo, it's going to be really tough to find that in the coming months. And what that translates to for the used car market, low inventory for new vehicles are going to mean used cars are going to be at a premium. So I'll touch up on that in a little bit, but that's what I think is going to be coming in the next 60 to 90 days. So it's important to know whenever you decide which car that you want to look at, there's really 3 numbers at the end of the day that you should work at. Unfortunately, many people only focus on one of the 3, and that's the obvious. That's the price of the car. Over and above the price of the car, let's say that you're somebody who likes to keep something for 5, 7, 8, 10 years. You're going to put a ton of miles on it. Well, it's really important to look at what the cost of maintenance is. It's also important to look at the resale value. So let's say that you keep a car 3, 4 years, but you put a ton of miles on it, whether you're in sales, real estate, whatever it is, and you're driving to the moon and back. You really want to look at what the resale value of cars are going to be. Here's the problem. Most people don't know where to find any of this data. So I'm going to give you a few good resources to look at today as well. So this is a study. If you look at the lower right-hand corner of that box, this was a study that was done by yourmechanic.com. To sum it all up, what they did is they took the cost of maintenance from each major car brand over the cost of 10 years. Now, this is not anything that goes wrong with the car. This is just what you should expect to pay over the course of 10 years at maintenance. So if we look on the high end, you see the German cars, for the most part, take the top 5, with the exception of Cadillac and Volvo. Over the cost of 10 years, take a look at what a Honda, a Toyota, a Lexus, even a Mazda or a Nissan would run you over 10 years. And if you didn't download the PowerPoint, I'll send you guys all of this data, but this is definitely good to have in your back pocket, or if you know somebody who is looking, definitely a good resource. So this is where you find an idea of what brands are going to be the most expensive over the course of 10 years. A lot of people also don't know, every year, J.D. Powers, they do a dependability study. In essence, they take all of the major car brands and they sort the problems per 100 vehicles and they rate them from lowest to highest. So this is third-party data just to give you an idea of who's at the top, who's at the bottom. You will see some familiar faces if you go back to 2019, 18, 17, 16. You'll see a lot of them usually hover right around the top or right around the bottom. And here, if you guys want to screenshot that or write any of these down, fueleconomy.gov. This is a website that you can go to check the exact gas mileage of every new and used vehicle that is available for sale in the United States. More importantly, if a lot of times if people are looking at a luxury car for the first time, they don't realize a lot of them use premium gas. So that's a website where you can go to find it. If you are ever wondering if there's a website that shows the most common complaints that happen for each car, what mileage it usually happens at, along with the cost of repairs, lo and behold, carcomplaints.com, great resource. I already covered Your Mechanic, along with J.D. Powers. And then many people know about Kelley Blue Book, NADA, and Edmunds. In essence, those are great researching sites where you look in the resale value of the cars. So let's talk about understanding incentives, because let's be honest, they're kind of confusing. So it's important to know that there's 3 basic types. You have a cash rebates, you have special financing, and you have a private offer. It's really important to know that they cannot be combined unless specifically noted. So if you ever see a Facebook ad or you see a billboard that says $5,000 off this model car or 0% financing, you cannot combine the 2 unless specifically noted. So those are option A and option B. And then there's the private offer incentives, which basically means it's something that the general public does not qualify for. So if you have let's just say, actually, I'm going to elaborate on a list of those in a little bit, but let me actually show you a cash incentive real quick. I work for Lexus, so this is just the deal that's on the table right now. Certain model, I want to say this was the GX, has a $2,500 cash rebates. And you see at the bottom, it says it's not applicable with anything else. 0.9% financing, same thing. As of right now, because of COVID, we are doing no payments due for 90 days on just about every new car that's in stock. And then there's the private offer. So to elaborate, loyalty cash on specific 2020 models, which basically means if you are in a lease of a current Lexus, you now have an extra $1,000 incentive that goes above and beyond what everybody else gets. Here's a few other examples of private offers. Let's say that you're active military. Let's say that you're in a lease from another manufacturer, lease loyalty, college grad, VIN incentives. So let's say that there's a big push this month on hybrid models. That would be a VIN specific incentive. Farm Bureau, I don't even know what Farm Bureau is, to be very candid with you, but I've seen it back when I was at Chevy. That's a private offer incentive. And then employees. And it's important to notice, not everybody will qualify for these. So what I really want to do is address a big problem that's in our industry. Because if you tuned into my last seminar called The Real Deal on Modern Car Buying, there's a study that came out, 87% of people dislike something about buying a car. That's a real study. You can go and type that into Google and it'll show you. Here's one of the reasons why, is because a lot of times there's lack of transparency at some dealerships. Now, let me give you a quick disclaimer. My intent with this is not to slander this ad that I'm about to show you, nor the dealership that it is at. I just want to show you how confusing things can be. So if you take a look, it shows a Chevy Malibu LS, and it shows a massive, massive discount. First off, this is a base model car. I can tell you because I used to work for Chevy, there's like $800 margin in this. So the days of giving a massive, massive discount like this are done unless you have private offer incentives. Now go ahead and take a look on the right-hand side at all of the extra stuff that they have. GM Select Tier Down Payment Assistance, Certified Program, Non-Competitive Lease. What happens is everybody likes to do as much research as they can before they actually hit a dealership. So what does that actually mean? They usually go on sites like TrueCar, Car Gurus, Auto Trader. They search within 50 miles and they sort every vehicle price from lowest to highest. Take a wild guess at which dealership is going to show up at the bottom. So that's all well and good. You get some people that drive a crazy distance to go and redeem this deal of a lifetime. And as soon as they get there, the salesperson says, okay, well, let me see your GM credit card. What do you mean? I don't have a GM credit card. Well, unfortunately, you don't qualify for that incentive. Do you mind if I see your lease paperwork? What do you mean lease? I'm paying cash for the car. Well, you see there's a GM competitive lease offer that's included in this. You don't qualify for that. And the end result, you end up getting put on the elevator and get frustrated. So wanted to address that. Please don't fall victim to it because I hate to say it, there are some dealerships that do that. So now let's talk about lease ads and another source of frustration. When somebody sees this, what do they see? They see, I would like to lease a Lexus UX 200 for $309 a month for $4,000 out of pocket. And most people don't really take time to look at the disclaimer. So to elaborate, anytime that you look at a lease ad, what they're basically saying is, hey, you can lease this car with no sunroof, no leather, no heated seats, no nav, the small wheels, base model of $35,000 for this payment, which is $309 when you structure it this way. And we see that's based off of 10,000 miles a year. If you look at the disclaimer, that includes the lease incentive of $1,350 out of pocket, $1,500 lease cash, and taxes are always separate. Why is that? Taxes do not legally count as money down because Chicago taxes are way higher than DuPage, which is lower than Cook outside of Chicago. So they legally separate that. So on a lease, let's talk about what is really due at signing. Like, what is the bare minimum that you have to put down? That is your first payment, that is your license plates, and that is your registration. So what I'm going to do here is show you a scenario. Let's say that you want to take that lease ad on that $35,000 UX. If you look on column 1, it says 0 cash down. And then it says total drive off. Again, total drive off is just your first payment, your license plates, and your registration. Let's say that you wanted to put minimal out of pocket, due page taxes, your payment would be $461. Let's say that you wanted to get that $309 payment and structure it like the lease ad says. That would be $53.59 due at signing plus your first payment, plates and doc, and it gets you right at that $309 payment. So on the last column, you will see something that says residual. What that means is that is what you can buy the car out for at the end. There's a lot of times people say, okay, Alan, I get it. You know, a lease payment is lower than it would be on a buy, but didn't I like just throw all this money away for 3 years? Well, you can buy the car out at the end and every lease payment that you made transfers over towards the balance. You can also do a 39-month lease or a 48-month lease, just to show you for conversation. If you would like to see what purchase versus lease numbers look like at 0% on that car, let me go ahead and share that with you. Just to give you an idea of minimal out of pocket and a little bit of money down, you would see the swing in payments. So now, another question that I get asked a lot. Should I buy new or should I buy used? And the answer is, it depends. I haven't made a PowerPoint in years. You got to admit, that was the most mediocre animation you guys have probably ever seen, wasn't it? So, should I buy new or should I buy used? Well, let's talk about that. If you buy new, it gives you the ability to personalize your vehicle a little bit more. You can pick the color, the options, the accessories, the exact equipment groups, the wheels, all of that stuff. Inventory is usually a little bit better because there is no used car factory. You're kind of at the mercy of whatever is on the table. You have manufacturer incentives. You have special financing, as I covered earlier. So let's say 0.919. Usually that stuff is on the table. It's a new car, so you are the original owner. You get the newest of new technology and the ability to lease. And you also have the ability to absorb some negative equity due to rebates, which means if you have negative equity, your car is worth less than what your payoff is. Let me use an example. Let's say that you trade in a car and it's worth $10,000, but you still owe $15,000 on it, you'd be $5,000 negative. So you can absorb that off of rebates. Benefits of buying used. Well, there's the obvious saving of initial depreciation. You can also buy something that is certified, and I'm going to touch up on that in a minute. Possibly lower insurance costs depending on the year, and it's usually a little bit more bang for your buck. So let's talk about what is a certified pre-owned car. Since I work for Lexus, I'm just going to use a Lexus example. Let's say that somebody were to buy a brand new Lexus from it. Your warranty is going to be 4 years, 50,000 miles, full bumper to bumper. Now, let's say that that same Lexus was a year old and you found that at CarMax. The only warranty coverage that you would have is the remainder of time from the original 4 years and the remainder of the mileage from that warranty. So if you get something that is certified, it's important to know it depends on what brand that you're looking at because each program is different, but Lexus would give you a 2-year extension on whatever time is left from the warranty, and that 50,000 mile cap would go away. So I'm just using that as an example. There's also much higher inspection standards. A big problem in the industry is, unfortunately, you get some dealerships that just take a car in on trade, they run it through the wash, and they slap a for sale sign on it. The idea of something that's certified pre-owned is to prevent that. Usually, they have to put it through a 151-point inspection. They back it by the manufacturer with the warranty, and sometimes you even get maintenance that is included. Also, every now and then you'll see a low rate that's on something that's financed as well, so that's some of the perks of doing a certified pre-owned car. One thing I'm going to address is why you should not expect a massive discount on a used car anymore. And here's why. In order to be relevant, because most people, and when I say most, I'm talking about like the 90% of the world, don't just walk onto a car lot anymore and say, hey, I'm just looking. I want to see what you have. And if they do tell you that, they're usually lying because they've already seen your inventory on the internet. So what happens is most people, when they're shopping for a car, they go on sites like TrueCar, Car Gurus, and Auto Trader, and they scan them within 100 miles, look at all the comparable models, and they sort the prices from lowest to highest. What does that mean? That means if the dealership wants to get any sort of traction, we have to put close to our best foot forward. As a result, instead of trying to make a ton of money off of each car, many dealerships take a volume approach, and some even actually take a a one price approach, which I'll touch up on later. Let's say that you find something with a big disparity. I'm just going to use that Chevy Malibu example that I showed you earlier. Let's say that you contact 3 or 4 dealerships and everybody gives you a $2,000 or $3,000 discount, and then you happen to see something that has an $8,000 discount. It will raise an eyebrow for a reason, because there's a good chance that it's too good to be true. A couple other things, except for misleading rebates, be wary of addendum stickers. What does that mean? That means there's a sticker that was not disclosed on the website that as soon as you get there have some sort of accessories on it, anything from window tinting, door edge guards, nitrogen in the tires, accessory wheels, stuff like that. So there are some dealerships that will leave addendum stickers on their car and attempt to bump you as soon as you get there. And most importantly, be wary of a pre-certified vehicle. Can we all agree that certified pre-owned and pre-certified, they basically sound the same? So what is the difference? A pre-certified vehicle means that that car has had that inspection. It means that you have the option. If you would like to buy the certified warranty, you can do that there, which also means if you're searching 3 or 4 different models and you're going with the lowest price, there's a good chance that they will ask you if you would like it certified as soon as you get there, and the online price did not include it. So just a quick thing. So quick show of hands, because everybody's muted. Quick show of hands if you've heard of any of these 3 companies, or all 3 of these companies. How about 2 out of the 3? How about 3 out of the 3? Cool. So first off, let me go ahead and address, these are actually all owned by the same company. We like to call them the big 3 in the auto industry. So each one has their very, very distinct and specific role in the Cox Automotive umbrella. That's the company that owns them. So here's a relationship by the big 3. Kelley Blue Book, which is the self-proclaimed trusted resource, really is an advertising site. At the end of the day, people go to research their car, and they go to check the resale value of what it is, and they go to get an approximate trade-in value. So it is a valuable resourcing tool. I'm not going to discredit it, but I want to share a big trap that most people fall, because 9 out of 10 times when people go there to see what their car is actually worth, they don't realize that there's actually 2 different trade numbers. So we see on the left, you have something called instant cash offer. On the right, you have something called Kelley Blue Book trades, which means if you go on the right and you go to Kelley Blue Book trade, what they're going to do is ask you for some basic info. Hey, what's the color of your car? What's the mileage? What are the options? And it'll spit out a range of between X and Y. It's not really going to ask for anything specific. On the other hand, most people don't know, Kelley Blue Book will actually buy your car. But the crazy thing is it's a totally different number than what their Blue Book value is. Let me elaborate. So I actually carried this example over from my last seminar, and I did this in August. So what I did is I inputted a 2015 Lexus RX 350 with 30,000 miles. Plugged in the basic info, navigation, all-wheel drive, and we see it's expecting that a dealership will pay between $24,300 and $26,300 for the car. In the sweet spot, if you look right in the middle, it says $25,333. Now, I also took the liberty of going to the other site and doing the instant cash offer. But you guys remember how I said that this was an advertising site? Take a look on the right-hand side of this. What do you see? You see a Lexus lease ad. 100% of this company's revenue is derived from advertising. So I also did the exact same thing on an instant cash offer. Instead of just basic info, we see there's a laundry list of stuff that it's asking me. Has an insurance claim ever been filed? A complete service records available? 2 set of keys? Has it been to an auction? Ever been used as a rental? Minor damage here, this, mechanical issues. 3 separate pages, and then what do? They get your data, and they actually sell it to one of their buying centers, which at that point, we see instead of $24,300 to $26,300, which was the range for the other one, it's saying, when I open up my checkbook, I will give you $22,300. So we balance that. That's a big swing. Can anybody see why people get frustrated now when they go to a dealership and they see this? So I'm sure you're wondering, okay, Alan, this sounds good, but like, why? why would they do all this? Why is there a disparity? Well, that leads me to their sister company. So Mannheim Auto Auction, some of you have heard about this. What is this? This is the biggest auto auction in the entire country. Not only is this where most dealerships buy cars for their inventory, but this is where a lot of those instant cash offers go. So how does this work? Somebody comes in, they get their trade-in book value on Kelley Blue Book. They get frustrated for whatever reason with the dealership, and they say, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to sell the car to Kelley Blue Book. Kelley Blue Book ended up swiping the car from underneath the dealership. They sell it to their sister company, Mannheim Auto Auction, and now we buy it back from Mannheim Auto Auction, and guess who we have to pay to list the car? That's where Auto Trader comes in. So Auto Trader is in the lead generation business. This is one of the major sites where dealerships list all of their inventory and also allows the consumer to list for sale by owner listings. So since we're on that, let's talk about trading your car in. Here's a few things that will affect the resale value of your car. Of course, the year, the make, the mileage, the condition, the desirability. Desirability means, let's say that you have a massive spoiler that's on your car, or let's say that you've lowered it, or you put a lift kit on it, or you've decided to be one of those people at Walmart that puts flames on their minivan and a weird paint job. All that kind of stuff is going to affect your resale value. Market conditions. I touch up on this because there's a lot of companies, General Motors, specifically in the Chevy division, Nissan, Ford, Infiniti, that sell a lot of cars to rental companies. They sell, X amount of tens of thousands to Enterprise, Hertz, Avis, National Budget, all of these, which means if there are 50 of the exact same cars that you have within the next 50 miles, it's going to be worth a lot less than it would be if you only had 10. Large rebates. Do you guys recall there was a $9,500 cashback rebate on a Cadillac Escalade that I pointed out earlier? What do you think that's going to do to the used car value? It's going to absolutely tank it. Unnecessary modifications, that's like what I said earlier. And then, of course, accidents. You can sell your car outright. I'm not going to lie, you will get more money usually if you sell it outright. But chew on this for a second. People buy privately and avoid going to a dealership so that they can save money. At the same time, people try to sell privately so they can make more money. Do you see the confusion there? So that's one thing to at least be aware of. It's also good to know it will usually take you longer than what you expect. Get ready for lowball offers. I'm sure anybody who has ever tried to sell anything on Facebook Marketplace can agree. Also, get ready for no-show appointments. And there's also no tax savings like there would be if you traded into a dealership. So let me address that. Let's say that you are trading in a car that is worth $10,000, but you are buying a car that is worth $30,000. You are only going to pay sales tax on $10,000 because they just changed that this year. The maximum tax credit that you can get is $10,000. And it's also good to know that you are most importantly, you're probably not going to get retail for your car. In closing notes, I just want to talk about some changes in the auto industry before I open up for Q&A. Carvana, a lot of you have heard of them. That is a concierge service, for lack of better words, where they say, hey, you don't have to come to the dealership. You can buy a car completely online. We'll bring the car to you. Ford Express, which is a new model. It is a one-price model with home delivery. Lexus Plus, which is something that they just launched. Basically, the customer only has one point of contact. The salesperson not only does your paperwork and finance, but goes over how to use the car with you, and everything's one price. Tesla, one price model, home delivery, CarMax, Uber, Turo. These are all things that are changing in the car business. And I just want to say thanks again for tuning into this, guys. I hope you got some value out of it. If we're not already connected on social media, please go ahead and add me. And I just want to throw this out there. If you or somebody you know is in the market for a car and you need a second set of eyes on whatever it is that you're buying, feel free to pick my brain. I'm happy to help out, regardless if we do business or not. A lot of people have questions on this. So I figured I would help out. Anyways, that is about it on my end.
Well, thank you, Alan. We appreciate that. Any questions from our attendees? Doesn't appear to be any questions right now. Alan, we really appreciate it. And we'll be sending some information to all our members on our professional speaker series presentations. We had this one this morning and another one at the lunchtime hour. Thank you all for attending. You got a thumbs up from Angela.
Awesome.
So,
thanks so much, guys.
So thank you all, and I'm going to close our session.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.
Have a great
Bye,
week.
everybody.
Thanks, Alan.
Thanks.
Thank you.